Hola, te doy la bienvenida a un nuevo episodio de Growth y Vida y quería decirte que el episodio de hoy va a ser en inglés. Estoy en mi coworking, en Fabric Spaces, que hay un montón de emprendedores y gente interesante, pero por desgracia muchos no hablan español. Así que el episodio de hoy vamos a conocer la historia de Brandon, que nos la va a contar en inglés, pero quería avisarte en español, por si vamos a hacer todo lo posible para que se entienda lo mejor posible, pero si no sabes inglés, pues entiendo que pases este episodio. Yo que tú le daría una oportunidad porque es una manera de aprender inglés y de conocer esta fabulosa historia. Así que ojalá te quedes. So, thanks for coming, Brandon. Welcome to Growth y Vida. This is the first episode that I do in English, so I wish everyone understood it, and let's see what happens.
You know, I've been working on my Spanish, and I couldn't really understand all that. So that's
really?
still
Did you understand?
no, I couldn't. I still have some work to do. Yeah.
Okay. So this podcast is to understand projects, but also to understand the story behind them.
Yeah.
So today I want you to ask you, who is Brandon and what do you do for a living?
Oh, excellent. Who is Brandon? That's such an open question, and I don't really know where to run with that. I would say if I had to describe myself, it would be I'm an enthusiast, an energetic enthusiast. So I like doing a lot of things. I like pouring a lot of energy towards those things. And I'm also a very, very strong optimist.
Mm-hmm. Where are you from? From the US?
I am from
Washington.
Yeah. Well, I'm from Washington State.
Okay.
But Southwest Washington. So out here, when I say I'm from Washington, people are like, oh, DC. I'm like, no.
Because Washington is in the other side.
On the other side.
Okay,
Other side, north of California. You got California, Oregon, Washington. And when I say I'm from Vancouver, they're like, oh, you're Canadian. I'm like, no, Vancouver, Washington, the other one. So typically I just say I'm near Portland, Oregon, 20-minute drive just north.
Okay.
That's where I grew up. Small town.
Yeah. And what are you doing in New York?
What am I doing here? Well, I guess the reason I am here is because, well, I had visited and I'm sitting in Central Park with a buddy of mine from Denmark. And he's like, Brandon, what do you think of New York? I said, crazy, cool, awesome, could never live here. Fast forward a year and a half, I get booked here for work. I was working with PricewaterhouseCoopers, PwC at the time, as my CPA and doing some audit work. 2 months in New York, living like a local. Spoken word, jazz, comedy. I just fell in love. Like being immersed and actually living like a local in New York City is insane. If you're a fan of the arts or just people in general, and the energy is just, it's magnetic.
Yeah.
So I've been here 8 years now.
2 years?
8 years.
8 years?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so you are going to stay.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, and what brings you to Fabric?
Yeah, so I joined Fabric in February.
Okay.
And I got connected because I used to work at Spotify, and someone who used to work here, she saw what I was doing with my work and connected me with someone at Fabric who's building a community in the dating space. Mm-hmm. So she invited me here. I met with her. We got chatting. Wonderful person. And ultimately, I was like, oh, this is a really cool space. And then got an email to another event, Built by Builders, which you're familiar with the series, came back and met one of the co-founders, Gwen. Mm-hmm. And they had a little promotional offering. And I was like, yeah, I want to check this place out. And haven't looked back. I love it. It's great to be here.
Yeah. You mentioned that you have worked in Spotify and in PricewaterhouseCoopers. That is like very corporate companies. And likely, I think Spotify, maybe if you watch, do you know that there's a TV series in Amazon TV that is a story of Spotify? And maybe it's the beginning of Spotify when it was like a startup, but of course, I guess now it's not like that. And I guess, I don't know your story, but I guess that you don't want to be again in corporate because, I don't know, maybe you didn't have a good experience or you prefer not being in corporate, right? That's why you have started your project?
Correct. Mm-hmm. First off, I was working at Spotify when that series came out, and it was very controversial. Yeah. Everyone's talking about it, and, oh, that's not exactly how it is, or like it's there. But people loved. That was a good inner office, a little cooler, water cooler talk about that series. I never actually watched it. But yeah, you're right. My goal is to not ever have to go back to corporate work. And it wasn't that I didn't enjoy the work at PwC or the work at Spotify. It was a wonderful company to work for. But ultimately, when I got laid off from Spotify, I had this realization that I'd been checking all of these amazing boxes during my life, but I wasn't the one who built the to-do list.
Yeah.
It was I had finally had an opportunity to take a breath, to not have open tabs on my computer, emails incoming, the to-do list on your day-to-day work, to time to just travel and to meet people and think with a clear head about, what do I really want to do? What's my purpose? What's my passion? And along that journey, and to give a little more background, the day after I got laid off from Spotify, my old boss at PwC offered me a year-long contract, or he didn't offer me, he alluded to, hey, I got an opportunity for you. It's a year-long contract, consulting a very large tech company, and it was a great opportunity. But I felt in my gut that wasn't what I wanted to do. And so I took that time to travel. And
it's important to listen to your gut a lot, because it says more than any person or anything. So I guess you did it well.
Thank you.
I don't know, but I would have done the same.
Yeah, and there was a time in the past where I delayed a major decision in my life that I could feel in my gut was the right decision. And so from that experience, I realized in that moment that I should trust this feeling I have inside. And so as I was saying, I traveled I was in Hawaii and New Zealand, Australia, and all over Asia. And along the way, I met incredible people. And I would talk to them, because of course you come up in conversation, like, oh, what are you going to do next? I described to them what always fueled me. And it always tied back to working with people. I volunteer at an organization during the school year on Saturdays. It brings me joy to work with those kids and to put time and energy into education, which I think is crucial for solving all the issues we face. But moving beyond that, there's always been this investment, whether working with friends on getting them to go to the gym or talking to them about struggles they're having in life. This always brought me joy. In high school, I think people would call me like Dr. Phil, which I don't know if that's a good thing now, but there's always this joke about that. And so when having these longer conversations with these people, they'd be like, that sounds like a life coach. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of lame, but ultimately after traveling, I came back to the States and accepted that, in fact, it was the best path to go towards to do something like I desired was through a life coaching certification. And so that's when I met someone who suggested certification to me, and I went down that journey to get certified and start seeking that path.
Cool. The other day, I listened in a podcast that sometimes our best talents or the things that we are best on, we don't know it because it's so natural for us that it's hard for us to see that good part. For example, in your case, maybe helping people or make them think or help them in their improvements. For you, it's so natural that maybe for you it was hard to see that could be a career. It's curious. So the good thing here is if you have a person that you, for example, is very good talking in public or drawing or whatever, say to them, or say to him or to her, because they are going, maybe they don't realize that they are good at that. So we should say more to the people where they are good at. That's another point. But I think it's interesting that you find out listening to other people and realizing that you were good helping other people. And then, okay, because you did the certification for life coaching, but now your project is more niche, more specific.
Yeah, I can give a little more into that. So along the journey, they offer guidance on how to figure out your niche. And I was always, throughout the process, I coach people in career and health and
Very
finding
general.
friends. Oh yeah, very general, variety of things. And I always had this vision of doing a holistic view because the way I live my life is very like, here are the pillars that I view as being important in my life.
Which pillars?
Well, I think they adjust over time, but it's like your health, mental, physical health, your friends, family, social life, your romantic love, that sort of part of your life. Career obviously ties into the financial piece, but finding the fulfillment and purpose. And then ultimately like just like general enjoyment and the piece that's more like about your balancing fun, work, and yeah, that sort of piece.
Okay. So you were like with that pillars, and how did you specialize on what you are doing now?
Yeah, so when they guide you on choosing your niche, they say, what's something that people ask you for advice in? What's something that there's a problem with in society? What's something you're passionate about? The biggest thing for me was, in deciding on focusing on dating, it was something I struggled with. And people might look at me and they're like, oh, you're a good looking guy. And I had everything going for me. I had, like I said, I checked all those boxes of, as class president for 3 years, a captain of sports teams. I won awards for being my fraternity chapter president. Did all of these amazing things and had amazing career at PwC, Spotify. But I sort of relied on these things and didn't know how to show intent, didn't know how to flirt, was afraid to go knock on the dorm door at college or ask for the phone number or go up and talk to the girl that's giving eye contact that they're interested. These sort of things that ultimately, and particularly as a guy, you have to do those things in order to find a partner that you ultimately want to spend time with.
Yeah, and no one show you that. You have to discover yourself, or watch movies, or listen to music, or I don't know. Sometimes it's natural, right?
Yeah, and that's a big part of it. Was I had to put in a lot of work to work through the fear of rejection, to work through those sort of things, learning how to flirt and tease, to actually be able to connect with people and go on dates and not get friend zoned, et cetera, et cetera.
And how did you do it?
A lot of failure.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a lot of, honestly, it was a lot of trial and error. It was leveraging YouTube or reading things and figuring out what resonated with me and then just putting it into practice.
Great. And so when did you realize that you were ready to coach other people?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting journey because everyone if you do a certification, you never quite feel ready.
Yeah.
But what I ultimately realized was I'd put in the work. I'd studied reading people and really listening and being curious, like those those classic life coach skills. And I had the tools. And so it was ultimately like, I have the tools to be a good coach. I've done the training. It's just, okay, I know I have the certification, the qualifications, and it's just trusting that.
Yeah.
And believing in myself, and then putting it into practice and realizing at first I'm not going to be like this amazing, perfect great coach, but I'm going to learn over time. I'm going to make mistakes, and over time I'll get better. And that's part of the coaching practice too, is over time you get better, you can charge more, you have less clients. Like, there's a whole process that goes with it.
Cool. No, I think it happens in all the areas because, for example, when you're recording a podcast, it's the same. Sometimes it's like, okay, I don't know how to do interviews, but you have to do it. And the only way is practicing and doing interviews, and then you get better. So I think it...
Hey, first one in English.
Yeah, first one.
Let's go. Let's see. Hey, crushing it. I said very thoughtful questions.
Yeah, thank you. But, and here, okay, so you started this in New York, and normally I've been married for 3 years and in a relationship for almost 8.
Yeah.
But in my experience, the problem was always with the man. Like, girls want to have a relationship, and it happens also with my friends, that normally the girls, I don't know if anyone is going to be angry with this comment, but normally the girls are more waiting for to be
Courted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not exactly like that, but I guess normally girls want to have a more stable relationship, as you can see, for example, in Sex and the City, the TV series, and the guys is like, okay, I don't have any, I don't know if I want to have a really serious relationship. So I don't know if in your experience with helping other people is the same, because I don't know, for example, and another question is like in New York, my experience from a person that is not from here, I see people is super alone. That there's a lot of alone people, lonely people that want to meet more people. Because it's an amazing city, but a lot of people feel super lonely.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like that and your client is that kind of person.
Yeah. There was a lot in there.
Yeah. A lot of ideas.
I love it. Starting with the theory, and I think I agree. I think on a probably statistically that typically a woman has a desire to be courted. I think there's a lot of truth in that. Obviously, everyone's different, and we can break down that. Yeah, that's of course. But typically, and in particular in New York City, there are more women than men.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So that is that adds an extra layer to this issue. And then you have, so that's like paradox of choice. A guy goes on a date, he's one thing he doesn't like, then he'll be like, oh, the grass is greener. I saw a beautiful woman walking in West Village. Like, I don't need to put time into this and just discount this person without really getting to know them. And then you add the layering of apps. And in particular in New York City, I don't think you could run out on Hinge or some of these apps. So that adds just an additional layer to this paradox of choice. Grass is always greener, not really giving time to grow a relationship. So I think there's definite truth in that. In particular, it's with working with my clients, it's understanding what are their dating tendencies. So are you familiar with this concept?
Which one?
Dating tendencies?
No.
It's like there's 3 dating tendencies. So you can have a hesitator, which is someone who's like, I will date when I lose this much weight or I have this job.
Okay, yeah. You wait for a perfect occasion.
Okay. Yeah, like I'm there and then I'll be ready to date. Yeah. So you're like not dating because you aren't there yet. Yeah. Right? And then you have the romanticizer who's like expects some fairy tale and the person's gonna come whip you. Like that must be. It's gonna be perfect. Like what?
That must be how.
Yeah, it's true. And then you have the maximizer, which is someone who thinks they're gonna have this perfect Frankenstein where it's like this, everything is perfect.
Okay.
And if you have a maximizer in New York City with the app culture today, it's really, you have to put a lot of time in focusing that type of person's energy towards what are those need to haves versus your nice to haves. And then really having that conversation and focusing on, let's go on the next date. Let's see how this goes. To be able to combat those things that might be causing issues in your dating life, not finding someone, if you are serious about finding a partner.
Mm-hmm. So you think the problem is more in the person that is in the date and not in the What I mean is like you need to be ready to be in a relationship and you help the guys to be ready for that.
Yeah, I think
I think that is.
yeah, in particular cases, there's also, I think something that is important is if a guy is interested in a girl in a heterosexual relationship, if a guy's interested in a girl, he's going to go for it, right? Like a masculine man, if he wants something, he'll go for it. Obviously, if he's a little more passive and there's no cues, he might be like a slower thing. But if you're going on dates with someone actively, you met them on an app and they're being wishy-washy, then that's probably a bad sign. Just to like warn women, because their actions speak louder than their words.
It's true.
They make time for you and etc.
Totally. We didn't say that you have a community focused on this. Mm-hmm. Actually, your project that is called Beyond Nice, mm-hmm. if I'm not wrong. So you started with men. And why did you start this community?
The reason I started this community is because, like I said, I struggled in dating. And ultimately why I got into this work is to be able to help other quality men who kind of just get in their own way, to have a space where they can learn, they can work on themselves, not only to help them in dating, but to help them in life, whether it's being more assertive, confident, mm-hmm. Finding their style and like dressing for that. And that's important if you're a founder trying to show up to a meeting where you're trying to raise funds, like you look the right part. But if you're at a date and you show up looking fresh, or if you're setting up your profile for a dating app, it's important to represent yourself in a way that you'll attract someone that the type of person you're interested in. I guess to give an example, recently I work closely with a matchmaker, and the part of that process is putting together a profile of the person that they're trying to find a connection with. And these are people who are serious about dating. And this is someone who's 40 years old. You wouldn't know by looking at him, but 40 years old, this man. Mm-hmm. And kindest heart, goofy, fun. He's such a quality human being, but he never had guidance and style. And so I had the opportunity to work with him, got a haircut, took him to someone I trust for that, got him some new glasses. I partner with stores in Soho.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I have like a few stores I partner with, and then partner with some like more like bespoke clothing it's fit to you, and got to do this whole style transformation. Mm-hmm. And I just learned this over the last couple days, that because we just posted his profile and he's getting insane outreach.
When you say profile, is in the app, right? In the dating app, or Instagram, or what?
Yeah, through Instagram.
Okay.
And like, yeah, girls are like flocking. They're like, "Whoa, I want to meet this guy. How do I connect with this guy?" And I can't explain how much joy. I literally have had like my heart felt warm, like leaving those shopping outings, or it's him and I going out there, leaving the photo shoot where at the beginning he's a little nervous, a little stiff, and I'm like showing him, hey, pose like this, we can relax, do this. And by the end, he's like a little cocky, like, he's feeling good. And I'm like, it's just seeing that and experiencing that and seeing his smile and joy. That's why I do this.
Yeah, I love it. It reminds me, of course, of the movie of Hitch,
yeah.
The Will Smith movie. But it's great because I work with a stylist in Spain also. It's a woman that help other women to believe in themselves, but and to be seen good. And it's like, I think it's very important to feel yourself with the clothes, with the position that I'm always like this, actually. But then it's very important because this is the way people are going to see you. So you need to project the image that you want to be. So and my husband always say, fake it until you make it. Yeah. Because if you don't believe in yourself, unless try to dress like the person you want to be.
Yeah.
Because you're going to believe more in yourself. For example, for me, it's like in the running. I'm not a professional runner, of course, and it's not my goal. But if I buy the proper pants, my watch, my everything.
you got the run
Like,
tape
okay,
thing.
now everyone that is going to be running around is going to say, okay, she's a runner.
Yeah, this Olga, that's a marathon. Yeah. Shoot, course record.
Yeah. So I think you have to do that. So I found that process amazing, and I'm sure that you help a lot in all that process, not just talking to them. I guess you do like everything, right?
Yeah, and I take a very holistic approach because actually, I was speaking on a panel the other day, and someone in the audience asked a question. They're like talking about, oh, why would I dress up and show up nice to a date if I'm a slob at home? And I was kind of like abrupt and just being like, do you really want to be a slob at home? You know, that's why I do my job. It's like, we're not going to be perfect, right? We're not going to be perfect, but we should be striving to live a life that's not like removing that friction. And okay, if you live like a slob, let's take one little step to start working through that, whether it's hanging your coat up when you get home rather than throwing it on the couch, or it's washing the dishes right after you have a meal. These are very small actions, but they can build towards living a life that I'd hope this person would desire to be living.
Yeah, small actions that make a lot of improvement at the end. So I totally agree. And of course, I try to do the same, but it's not so easy. It's like you have to get the habit to finally be that person.
Yeah. And I think the craziest thing is someone posted on Twitter. I've been meaning to respond to it. I'm trying to put a video together to send to this guy. But he said, I worked at Google where everyone made over $300K and they didn't know how to dress themselves. And sometimes people just need a little boost to be like, okay, you have this money. Let's invest it in anything. Like I work with an interior designer too. So say someone's just grabbing the free furniture off the street and they're just throwing together the design of their apartment. It's like, that's an important part of your life. In particular with dating, if you bring someone home and they see like hair on the bathroom floor and that there's no wall art, like it just doesn't feel homey, then it can very easily scare someone away from wanting to continue to see you. And is that shallow? Maybe, but it's a representation of who you are. And unfortunately, that's the world we live in, and especially in New York City.
Yeah. No, I like that point of view, and this idea came to me. Normally, girls, we need to be like great nails, everything good, and the guys is like, it doesn't matter, I'm going to wear a white t-shirt and that's all. And I like what you do because it's like, okay, a woman, we need to be great, but men too, like we need to be at the same level. So I like that because normally it's not like that.
Yeah.
So good point. And so your community now is focused on guys that want to date properly and feel comfortable with themselves.
Yeah.
And how did you start it? How did you get your first client?
Yeah. A lot of networking. Yeah. So just being out there, going to events, talking about what I do. I do social media stuff, but I find more traction through being in person. Getting better online. You know, I've posted my first YouTube video the other day, a little long form content, and like getting better at editing. I'm very proud of the work I'm doing online, but it's typically through referrals and the first time just out there, like trying to meet the right person that would trust me.
And normally the kind of projects do you work is like, do you have a time, for example, in marketing, normally in 3 months, you see the results. Yeah. I don't know in your case, how many months or how much time do you need to start seeing some results?
Yeah, and it's different based on clients because it's different goals, right? So I have different coaching packages that offer a variety of services. Typically, it's 8 coaching sessions weekly, meet in person, virtual, whatever works for that individual. And then I have another offering where as part of that, it's 2 wingman outings where we attend a singles event together, or we go to just go out and talk to people in the wild. And what's great about that is it's a chance to give real feedback right then and there. Because the thing with dating is you can sit in a room and talk about it all day long, but it's ultimately about how you're showing up. And if you don't, typically we don't have the opportunity to obtain feedback about, was I being curious? Was I asking questions? Was I telling stories? Not just being like something a lot of the guys I work with that might have people-pleasing tendencies, they'll just rapid fire questions. There's question. It's like an interview. The person's, and it's a wonderful concept I like to discuss with my clients is conversation threading.
Listening.
Yeah, exactly. And it's something you have to do with your work here is someone tells a story, and within that, there's little threads you can pull. You ask someone, tell me about where you're from, Olga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm from Madrid, from Spain. So now you have I'm from Madrid, from Spain, but I live here in New York, in Brooklyn.
Oh, wow. Excellent. So from that, I can talk about Spain.
Yeah.
I haven't been to Madrid, but I'm interested. I've been to Barcelona, or I can talk about Brooklyn. Typically, like, people that are a little nervous might hammer another question. But if you can be playful or tell a story and then ask another question because you're curious, like you're from Spain, I'm sure there's a lot that I don't know about Spain that I'm curious to know about. But it's having that confidence and that calm presence to be able to trust yourself in that with that person that you might be a little nervous. You're like, oh, I'm talking to a cute girl. I don't know what to say. And to be able to bring that fun, goofy, whatever personality you have that is beyond that nice guy.
Yeah, or beyond that tech
label.
Like,
yeah. Yeah.
Cool. And for example, how do you manage your time? This is curiosities that I'm having in the moment, because I guess you work one-on-one with a client, like very close to them.
Yeah.
Do you use WhatsApp, or how do you communicate with your client?
Yes.
Just curious.
So, yeah.
I know, because here you don't use WhatsApp, right?
Some do.
It.
Actually, yeah, some do. So WhatsApp is used, or texting, and that's always open. Texting, conversations, wanting to be supportive. Sometimes things come up, and sometimes it's finding that right balance if they're of helping them, but not telling them, right? Like enlightening them to, hey, okay, you're texting this girl and you're trying to get this date. Think about it this way, and then let them kind of come up with their solution so they can grow from that experience instead of being like, say this, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's one part of the one-on-one offering I have. And then additionally, before, after a singles event or a date, I offer small, like short calls, 5-10 minutes. Obviously it's not so strict, but it's ultimately to be like, if they're feeling it, they want to get like gassed up before their date, I'm there to be support. If they don't have someone that can support them in that moment, or after a date, being able to capture how that went, so then in our next session we don't forget about like little details. She has the first impression, how they feel, how'd you feel, and that's just an important. I think that if anyone in this field should offer that, because it's important to capture those little moments, those data points.
Yeah. It's super funny, your work. It's like, because sometimes my goals are through content or through business, but here is like, I don't know, like conversation, not a friend, because your role is not as a friend. I guess that's important. Like, okay, I'm not your friend. It's like when you go to the psychology, that you have to know that he's not a friend. He's like a role. So
professional is working with you. Yeah.
It's
and that's interesting. I've had clients ask, oh, can we be friends? And it's having that real conversation of, while we work together, we have to keep this professional relationship, and obviously it feels friendly, and that's how it should be, especially being a wingman and being someone they can call in those very personal moments. You grow close, but it's a fine line, and you're right.
Yeah, you have
Setting that boundary.
manage that. And one thing, I know you do events here in a Fabric, and I don't know if other places.
Yeah.
I've never been to one because I'm not in that niche. And how do you do it? What do you do in those events, and how are they working?
Yeah. That's been such an evolution. And I will say I'm a perfectionist. And my first event, I joined Fabric. I'm talking to a couple people that work here, and I'm like, oh, I've been wanting to host an event. And they're like, just do it. I'm like, okay. So then I like planned it within 24 hours. And like, that was fast. So like, no one plans events like that. And it was great. And at that point, I'm texting friends or ex-coworkers or people I know through Run Club or all these communities that I've been involved with over time. But then it's evolved into having people I don't know sign up for my events, which is really exciting. But there's been a lot of learning. And even I was just at an event here at Fabric discussing failure and what you learn from that. And with hosting these events, I've learned that it's finding that right balance between teaching versus enlightening. Mm-hmm. and having people come up with the answer on their own and working together and talking to each other to build community.
Yeah.
And so that's something that I've been kind of throttling to balance that to make people feel more connected to the community and understand what the mission is. And it's evolving.
Yeah, of course, it's hard at the beginning because no one know each other. So it's like, okay, you have to break the ice and start talking to others. So I think it's normal.
Yeah, and dating is very, very personal. And in particular with men.
That's another point.
In particular with men, admitting, it's like the classic asking for directions, right? Admitting you're wrong or you need help is very, very challenging. And
how many people normally go to your events?
It's been a wide range.
You have to do
wide range. Yeah, no, you do more. Typically, I'd say on average, like in the teens, it's
a lot.
Yeah.
To create a community with one leader.
Yeah.
So it's a lot. Yeah.
But recently I hosted an event I was really excited about. It was like go shopping and then go to a happy hour, 3 stores that I partnered with, get like the Brandon discount. It's like a whole thing. And, I wanted to have 5 to 10 people and I ended up getting 4. And that's just part of the journey. It's still, okay, I still want to bring my full energy towards this because it doesn't matter how many people show up in the room. Mm-hmm. It's about giving them the best experience you can. But yeah, it's such a joy to have the creative freedom to come up with these bizarre events. A flirting workshop, right? Like I've never even heard of that, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people loved it. And I was critical of it because I think there was still that lack of balance between the teaching and them connecting. But it's iterating and learning from that and figuring out what ultimately will offer the most value, which is what I want to do with those events in particular, because coaching isn't cheap. And these are a way to be able to grow and learn without investing like a large sum of money.
And maybe you can, I don't know, I'm thinking.
Oh yeah, let's go.
Maybe you can create, I don't know if it's easy or not, but create a partnership with a dating app and create events with partnership with the brand.
I'm in talks with one of the apps. A product manager at a particular application I won't mention. And so we have some fun ideas we're working on. Just another thing in relation to events. Like I said, I've been working closely with this matchmaker. His name is Nick, met by Nick, and his overarching company is called Quality. He's wonderful. He's been in the industry 5 years. He's the nicest guy. I remember meeting him. I'm like, oh, I freaking like this guy. You just have that connection. And we're working on something, and we're hosting our first event on September 18th, and it's a singles event, and it's a very different experience. I'm leveraging that matchmaking skill by having hand-selected people to come to this event. It's very exclusive. Everyone will be expected to dress in cocktail attire, and the the idea is, it's called The List. And it's about having people showing up to this event who are bringing, they're quality people, and they're hand selected by 2 dating professionals. And it's not only that they're quality people are showing up dressed a certain way, 2 drink tickets included with your ticket, hors d'oeuvres, it's a whole experience. It'll be romantic lighting, all those sort of things, music curated. And
Are you going to do it here?
in New York City, yeah.
No, but not in.
No, not in Fabric, yeah. And it's going to be like I'm really excited about it because it'll be it's like meant to be like this balance of exclusive but inclusive. And people offer a lot of different things. So as far as like, I imagine you're like, well, how do you select who you bring? I think there's a lot of different things we look for, and we're trying to refine how we do that. But it's just making sure it's the right type of person to have at this event. That's curious to meet others, and that we think are quality people.
Totally. I think it's a great idea. I'm not going there, but I'm going to take it. And you have to take your friends, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'm going to read everything, and I love it. I love that kind of ideas. And I've been 1 week ago in California, in San Diego, and there were no events like that.
Wow.
So New York is the place where you can find that meet in what I see, because in LA, San Diego, there was no that vibe. It's different. So I think New York is the city where you can find that kind of communities and everything. So I think you're in the right place.
Yeah, I agree. And I think when working with my clients, I find it very important in relation to like apps versus in real life events. It's important to like meet them where they're at. People have limitations based on their time. If they're very busy with their career, that's typically why people would seek out, would only rely on apps or would seek out a matchmaker. But it's also where they feel comfortable. Maybe they haven't been on a date in a while, and it's like, okay, well, let's start with the apps. This is low friction. We set up a profile. You don't have to go and put yourself out there, and we can get you on dates. Or I've had clients come to me and they're like, I'm on the apps. I keep doing the same thing. I'm in a loop, but I don't feel in control of my dating life. I don't feel like when I see that pretty girl or that person I want to talk to, I don't feel confident, comfortable to go strike up that conversation and ultimately take that risk and potentially face rejection to ask them out, ask for their number, or tell them, like, literally ask them out on a date right then and there. And that's ultimately, I guess that's been the joy of doing this, is seeing people take those steps and have that growth. Like one of my clients having a girlfriend, which is
that's
very exciting.
That's your goal.
That's my goal.
Yeah.
So and even in another example,
going to all the weddings, you're going to be invited to that.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be great.
Yeah,
sounds fun. But and then like the guy I did the VIP style transformation with, just seeing, okay, we're getting traction, and then I talk to him and get to hear about the dates he's having, and that's the joy of it, the joy of the work.
Yeah, you see the output, the results of your work.
Yeah.
So it's great. And I'm curious about the thing. What's your goal for your project, or how do you see your business in 5 years?
Yeah.
I know it's a difficult question, but more or less.
Yeah, I think already the business has evolved beyond nice, if you will.
Yeah.
And I've been working on what that'll look like with branding, etc. Beyond Nice was created around an event series to help guys move beyond the Nice label and find their flair, find their momentum, and like that, what makes them not, like when someone leaves, say a girl leaves talking to them, what will they say that's not, oh, he's a nice guy? What's that thing? Like, oh, you're so funny, or you're so cute, he's like fun, whatever it is, something that is attractive. Because that, being that nice guy, unfortunately, isn't fueling attraction. So that's where that stemmed from. But the vision right now, I'm working one-to-one. I work one-to-many with events. I would like to do group coaching, right? So there's a lot there, but the goal is to be able to work one to infinity and develop courses like a 30-day style transformation or
good idea.
Pushing or powering through people pleasing. Like a course on what is the framework, what's something I can do to work through these tendencies of that a people pleaser might be guilty of. For our confidence building a course, I have a lot of ideas I have written down, and so I want to be able to offer things like that where I can reach more people online and have more impact and have people feel more fulfilled in their life just from taking these small steps that I can help guide them through.
I like those ideas, and I'm going to tell you later more ideas because I think you can create a lot of things around. So I wish you all my luck to your project. But before finishing, I wanted to ask you, what would any advice to all the people that we want to be more attractive, more confident, but it's hard for us? How can we do it?
More attractive.
In our attractive, confident, and of course happy with our lives. What advice would you give? Yeah,
I mean, I can talk about this all day. Yeah. I think you have
small, as you say, like small actions.
Mm-hmm. I think it starts by when I work with people on confidence in particular, I have a very simple framework. It's an ABC framework because we love ABCs, right? Like people remember that.
Everyone loves frameworks.
Everyone loves frameworks. I think in particular with the people I work with, they like structured thinking. They like to work through and feel progress and understand what that'll look like. Like, okay, how do I get towards that vision I've set for myself? And the ABCs in this particular case of confidence building is awareness, becoming, and cultivating. And the example I like to give, because I think it's really relatable for anyone, and if you haven't been dating, is a networking event. Mm-hmm. So let me give you an example of how someone could work through this framework. You walk into the event. Let's say it's creator economy. We've been to those. And they have code check. Okay, so you go up to code check, you check it in, I talk with that person for a little bit. Cool, whatever. First off, that's an opportunity to have a fun conversation. If you bring a different answer to, like, I know this is kind of going off topic, but I want to make a point of saying this because I think it's important. If they ask, how are you? You don't have to answer that verbatim. For example, this week, go to the Trader Joe's or whatever it may be, and it's like, oh, how are you? If I'm feeling good, I'll of course be like, oh, I'm doing awesome. Like Saturday, I went on this trip. I got 3 friends. We rented a car. We went upstate and swam in a lake. And I could even go on and say the reason I did that is I felt summer was happening to me and I wanted to take it back and I want to be intentional with my summer. And what that does is it starts a conversation that's not, oh, I'm doing good. Yeah. And then you're like, yeah, whatever. And there's nothing there. You don't spark any engagement. It's not interesting. It's not fun for you. It's not fun for them. So I say my point of this is you get the how are you, bring something that you've done recently that's interesting that can allow the person to ask a follow-up or connect with or tell their own story. And if you don't have anything interesting, then let's work on filling up your calendar with things you like to do that you can talk about with people you meet. Okay, but anyways, I'm moving on.
Incredible. Yeah.
Awareness, right? So then you go and you check in for the event and you have your name tag, whatever, you're talking to that person, great. Then you walk into the event and there's 85 people and you're standing there and all of a sudden this feeling sinks in.
For me, it's horrible.
It's horrible. Yeah. This is great. This is something.
So I'm super, I'm there.
You're there. Yeah. This is amazing. Oh, God.
Yeah.
And in that moment, it's important to be aware of that feeling. What am I feeling? I'm feeling alone. I feel like overwhelmed. People are looking at me. Whatever it may be aware of that. And the key thing is to understand the trigger. And the trigger in this particular instance is there's a lot of people, I don't know who to talk to, et cetera, et cetera. that trigger is the power. You need to own that trigger, because the trigger becomes what you can use to become that confident individual you want to be. And what I mean by that is, you think about, what comes with becoming is strategizing. And it's like, okay, when that particular trigger arises, what's my plan? Is it, I'm going to just take a breath, I'm going to go grab water, I'm going to give myself some time, and then I'm going to look for someone alone to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great strategy. And then it's ultimately implementing that strategy, seeing how it goes, iterating, learning. That's the becoming piece. And that can also be a strategy of talking to the person in the elevator to warm yourself up socially. It can be talking to the person in the line when you're waiting for something. These are ways of building up your confidence at these events. And then when you kind of are in your head at that point, right? That's the becoming phase. It's having a strategy, enacting the strategy, and you might still have a little bit of these feelings.
Mm-hmm.
But then you can move to the cultivating stage, and that's where you start feeling empowered. You've had failures, you've had successes, and it becomes more experimental and pushing the boundaries. And that can be, okay, I see a group of 3 talking. How can I get in there and interrupt in a way that's respectful,
Mm-hmm.
and that I don't feel like the person who's kind of like lingering? For instance, if you see a group and they're having a good time, you can walk up and be like, oh my gosh, your guys' energy is amazing. I just wanted to come over. I'm Brandon. Hi, whatever. Introduce yourself. And people, if that makes sense, right? That's logical for them to understand. And you're at an event where people are trying to meet, so it's not really a big deal to go up and want to connect with people. That's the point of networking.
Yeah, I love it. I love the example because I see it properly. So, wow, incredible. I think you gave us a great advice.
Oh.
And I really enjoyed this conversation. Thank you very much for joining Growth y Vida. I really like it. And of course, if anyone else wants to know more about his story, how can they find you? Social media? I don't know if it's Instagram,
Yeah, Instagram, TikTok. Like I said, new YouTube video that I released, and I'm working on some other stuff that I'm excited about, addressing people pleasing, some framework around that. I also have, website.
And where do you publish your events? Maybe if someone is coming to New York, I want to go to your events.
Yeah.
And Luma? Or
Luma, I have a calendar you can subscribe to. I also have like a bio site, which has all my socials, email, website, how to book a free session with me. I work with people virtually as well. I've worked with people internationally. So that's always available.
Spanish too?
En español,
También.
it might be a struggle.
Yeah.
Maybe someday.
Maybe. So thank you very much for this conversation. I hope you enjoy. And
No, it was amazing. Thank you so much for having me, Olga.
yeah,
Really appreciate it.
thank you. I feel so comfortable talking in English.
Yeah, you rocked it. Oh my gosh.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.